Welcome into Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. NFL Combine style. We are live and direct from Radio Row here at the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine. I'm going to give you my 5 biggest takeaways from what Joe Schoen had to say at his press conference today. We got some more info as well. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We put that full interview out on the channel earlier today. We have some exclusive shorts going out as well, and I don't want you guys to miss a thing. We are going to be here all the way throughout the week for when Saturday, when maybe Cam Ward throws, Shador will not, but we will be covering it all, so subscribe and turn those notifications on. Alrighty, my 5 biggest takeaways from what Joe had to say. He talked a lot of different things, but the main thing coming out of it was that he said he is willing and wants to and is going to take, quote, multiple swings at the quarterback position. This was that full quote. He ended up saying, I'm for taking swings at that position. It's the most important position in the league, and it's hard to find them. So keep swinging. And you know what? That sounds really good. And it really, I thought, was eaten up by a lot of the Giants media members that were here. But I'm old enough to remember when Joe Schoen took this job in 2022 and he didn't draft a quarterback. And he didn't draft one in 2023. And he didn't draft one in 2024. He has made 24 selections as the general manager of this football team, and not one of them has been the quarterback position. Maybe you can go out and say he took a swing and he swung and missed on that contract extension that he did give Daniel Jones, but I just don't really see the actions matching up with what he had to say. He did speak or was asked about Matt Stafford. I don't remember which media member asked him, but they said, we have heard that there has been talks about the Los Angeles Rams allowing Stafford and his agent to go out and talk to other teams about a potential deal and how much money that would cost. Joe pretty much shut that down and said, you're going to have to talk to the Rams. We've got more on quarterbacks coming up in a second and Matt Stafford, but I had a question for Joe Schoen that I thought he gave a pretty good answer to. I asked him, Joe, at your introductory press conference now 4 years ago, you told me and you told all Giants fans out there, you think you can build a roster that can win today and compete for tomorrow. And I said, you're entering year 4 as the general manager, and where do you think you are at in that process? He said this.
Joe, in your introductory press conference, you said you think you build a roster that can win today and compete for tomorrow. Entering year 4 as the Giants GM, where do you think you are in that process?
Yeah, we've got to be better. We were a 3-win team, so where we are financially, from a salary cap health standpoint, we're in good shape. We have premium draft capital, so not suffocating. We have the resources to improve the roster, and again, we made some decisions after that first year when we won, and they didn't work out. So again, we're where we are, and again, I feel like we have the resources to improve the roster, and that's what's exciting about this time of year.
I really appreciated the honesty there from Joe. And look, everybody knows the Giants are not where they want to be. Joe Schoen knows that. But I also think he knows the clock is ticking and the time is now. And I do think there is some pressure, and he feels some pressure. So we're going to see an offseason where I think the Giants are going to be aggressive, but they can't be reckless. You be aggressive, can't be reckless. He talked about the salary cap and all the resources they have to improve this team. We're going to get to see if Joe Schoen does that this offseason, starting with NFL free agency right around the corner, and we're like 60 days away from the NFL draft. Speaking of free agents, Joe Schoen was asked about those guys, and there's 4 players that were actually starters for this football team that are going to be free agents. Guys like Azeez Ojulari, Darius Slayton, they play some premium positions. It sounds like here at the Combine, those conversations are going to get underway between those people and Joe Schoen and the Giants front office.
Yeah, we'll have those conversations this week. GVR, the 4 starters, Daniel's obviously on Minnesota's roster now. GVR, J-Pin, and Slayton are the 3, opening day starters that are, their contracts are up. So we'll have those conversations this week. Again, we're still waiting on the salary cap. We have a little bit of a range on what that's going to be. So we're starting to put all that together now.
I love that he mentioned Greg Van Roten as well. Probably a name that's been lost a little bit in the shuffle, but we know how important the offensive line is. And if you're going to draft a rookie quarterback, the most important thing you can do is put 5 guys in front of him that can protect him. My question to you is this. With those 4 guys he talked about, Darius Slayton, Jason Pinnock, Greg Van Roten, and Azeez Ojulari, if you could only pick one of these gentlemen to return to the New York Football Giants, who would it be? Type their jersey number below. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Slayton and Ojulari. Giants refuse to trade them at the deadline. Do they come back? They play premium positions. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how that unfolds. I also asked Joe Schoen about what he thought of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. I probably didn't ask the question the best. I didn't think I was going to get 2 questions with him, to be honest with you. But I thought what he said, and there was a great follow-up question by Charlotte Carroll, The Athletic, and he expanded about what he thinks about Cam Ward and even gave an inside look about how they've been scouting him and some games they were at.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into comparing the guys. We've done a lot of work on those 2. I know a lot of people are talking about those 2, but there's other quarterbacks throughout the draft, and excited to get around those guys as well. Yeah, I haven't been around Cam. Again, that's something that we'll have to get around, but have seen him play a couple times. I was at the Cal game, and they dug themselves a little bit of hole. Some of it was they were in a hole because of him, but he also was able to get him out of it, and they won the game because of him. So, those are traits that you look for, the got-to-have-it moments, whether it's Virginia Tech, that Cal game, to bring a team back. And when everybody in the building knows you're going to throw it, that you can throw it. So, and there's several quarterbacks in this draft that are like that, so not just Cam. So excited to get around the prospects this week and throughout the spring.
I love the insight Joe gave there, and I really appreciated that he was honest, saying that he hasn't gotten a chance yet to meet with Cam Ward like he did with Shedeur Sanders at the East-West Shrine game. A lot of people, when I posted this clip on Twitter, kind of took it as, Giants don't like Cam Ward. They are in love with Shedeur Sanders. Joe Schoen's a really smart guy. He's not going to tip his cap. He's not going to show you his cards. I promise you, the Giants are extremely interested in Cam Ward. I don't know if they have Ward as QB1 or QB2, but both of those guys are in the Giants' plans. They're going to meet with them this week. I'm sure there will be exclusive interviews and things like that. But I love some of the things Joe had to say, one of them being in that Cal game. Everybody knew he had to throw the football, and he was still able to do so. Talked about game-changing traits. Another question that was asked is, what are 2 traits you want in a quarterback? He said completions and being a winner. Those are 2 things I think kind of both go with Cam Ward. My QB1, the guy I'm hoping is going to be the guy under center for the Giants for a really long time. And hopefully he's throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors as well. And you can get your Neighbors jersey today by going to chatsports.com/neighbors. That's chatsports.com/neighbors. That link will be clickable down in the comments and description of today's video. Last point that I really had, and we knew this coming in, but it was, I thought, refreshing to hear it from Joe, is everything is on the table for the quarterback position. He mentioned that there is not going to be a rock that won't be turned over. They're going to look at everything. He talked trades. He said free agency, as well as the NFL draft. I thought he gave some good answers of being able to contrast the difference of what's it like going to be drafting a young quarterback versus an old quarterback, and here's him saying so.
Yeah, and where we are, Tommy DeVito is our only quarterback on the roster, so you may evaluate both of those. Those both may be options. So, again, we don't know what's going to happen in the draft. We don't know who's going to be there. When we get around these kids, they may or may not be a fit for us. So, we're going to have to address the position somewhere. And even if you get a young quarterback, you'd like to have a vet, in the room with them to show them the ropes and how to be a pro. So, we're looking at all different avenues. It's, hey, is this guy going to be really good for a young quarterback, or is this guy a starter? Or can we get a guy in the draft? Or if we do, should we have a guy that's more of a guy that can develop and show a guy how to be a pro? So, we're going to look at, vets. We're going to look at the draft. We're going to look at trade candidates. We're going to look at under every rock to, find the best prospect for us going into the 25 season.
We all know the Giants somewhat fumbled the quarterback position going into last year, telling Russell Wilson he would be the backup to Daniel Jones, probably not taking a big enough swing with Drew Lock. I think they are going into this offseason learning from that, which is something that you like, and they are going to make their weakness hopefully a strength at this point. A couple of other quotes I quickly wanted to hit on from Joe Schoen. He said, you can't manufacture finding the right quarterback. You can't draft a quarterback just to say you did it. The Giants are going to go through the process right now to determine if there is one at number 3 worth taking. He also said this on Dexter Lawrence, some injuries. Dexter Lawrence's dislocated elbow and Andrew Thomas's foot, two key veterans who ended the season on injured reserve. Quote, Dex is good. You saw him at the Pro Bowl, so I'm assuming he's good. I haven't seen him physically. He could play tug of war, so he's good. Then Andrew Thomas has been in the weight room. He looks phenomenal. No boot on the foot or anything. He's moving well. He looks humongous right now. Pause. Look, I'm glad Joe Schoen is giving us all the information, and it was nice getting to talk to him. But he's got a big offseason, the biggest one yet as a general manager, and if he doesn't get it right, it might just be his last one as the general manager. The question I want to ask you guys before we bounce on out of here and go get you some more exclusive content is put on your prediction goggles and let me know. Who do you think takes the first snap at quarterback for the New York Giants next season? Is it a rookie? Is it a veteran? Give me a name. And make sure you are following me on social media. That's the first place you would have saw the Joe Schoen press conference. I posted those clips immediately after doing so. We're going to speak to everybody the rest of the week, and I don't want you to miss it. So subscribe and give me a follow on socials at @MarshallGreen_.